I know that for many writers, their goal and dream is to make a living as a self-published author, to have most of their money come from the books that they publish, to share their stories with the world. Unfortunately, as we're pursuing this dream, most of us need a J.O.B. This episode, we're going to be discussing ways that you can use your passion to increase your income and generate revenue streams while you wait for your book to set the world on fire. That's coming up next on this episode of The Creator's Journey. Welcome to another edition of The Creator's Journey. I am your host, Gary Karp. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been following me and my videos for a little bit, then welcome back. Now, I want to assure you that I am not going to try to pitch you on an MLM or a network or a pyramid scheme right now. Nor am I going to try and sell you any product or service at the end of this video. I do think, however, it's important that we talk about how we can create income and revenue using our passion while we're writing our books, our novels, while we are creating our art in order to share it with the world and hopefully have that art catch on fire and become our main source of income. Now, most of us sit there and we just toil with a J.O.B., a soul-sucking job. But it doesn't have to be that way. Especially today with the internet, there are so many ways that we can use our passion and our creative, artistic abilities to create income and revenue. So let's talk about some of them. The first opportunity I'd like to talk to you about is really the simplest and the most obvious. And that is to get a job in the area where your passion lies. Now, for most of the people who are going to be watching this video, that's going to be publishing. I am a self-published author, and I speak to self-published authors. And I know a lot of self-published authors, wannabe authors, who have gotten into the publishing industry because they want to be around books. And they also want to make those connections to help them along while they're writing those books. But publishing isn't the only industry you can get into. It's not the only area. You could also work at a bookstore. I have a friend who lives in Virginia, and he works full-time in a neighborhood, old-time, non-corporate bookstore. You know, one of these places that when you walk in, you get hit with that stale, musty smell of old books. It's just wonderful to be in. I can lose myself in these places for hours and days on end. And he works there because he gets to be around books. He gets to speak with like-minded people and meet like-minded people, including the authors who do readings and have talks at the bookstore. And also because it doesn't tax his brain. It's not a very mentally or emotionally demanding job, and this means that he could put most of his energy and focus into the creative arts. And that's really a great thing about working at a bookstore, or if you want to be an artist and work with paints, in working in a gallery or in a museum, maybe as a tour guide, that you have a position that doesn't require that much brain energy, and therefore you can utilize that energy towards writing the great story that you've been sitting on or that you've been torturing yourself over. Hopefully you're not torturing yourself. So there you have bookstores that you can work with because you'd be around books, you'd be around stories and storytellers, and it's not overly taxing. Or you can go into the publishing industry And then you'd be able to learn the industry from the insides, and you can start building your network of connections that if you don't want to go the self-publishing route and you want to go the traditional publishing route, will help you when you're ready to publish that book, when you're ready to send your manuscript out to the agencies, to the publishing houses to try and get it published. And the second opportunity you have is freelance writing. And that's really a great opportunity to choose from. And there are many opportunities out there for freelance writing, especially with the advent of the internet. There are places you can go to get freelance writing gigs. I know I use this very often to supplement my income as well. There are sites out there such as ProBlogger.com and CopyBlogger.com where you can go and sign up for a free account and get access to their classified section. And the classified section is filled with nothing but freelance writing opportunities. Opportunities to write blogs, opportunities to write technical papers, opportunities to write ebooks. It's all there. Now, a couple of caveats on this. It is a classified section, so you're going to be going up against other writers as well. Secondly, the competition is fierce, and that usually means that prices are going to be low. So these may not be the best paying jobs in the world, but they will allow you to continue to write and hone your skills. That's what I love about them. And also, for me, I always get to learn while I'm writing the blogs and the tech papers because I'm always writing about industries I know nothing about. I'll give you an example. I just finished writing a couple of blogs for a day spa. I wrote blogs on the benefits or secret benefits of massage and the benefits of CBD oil and the reasons why you should choose one massage over another. For me, this was fascinating because I know nothing about that industry. So all the research I did, I loved because I was learning new things. And that's really one of the best parts about being a freelance blog or article writer. You get to learn. You could be a ghostwriter. Now, I know some people may think that ghostwriting and freelance writing are the same things. I place them in two distinct different categories. And here's how I separate them. Freelance writing, meaning blog writing, small ebooks, technical papers, those are writing assignments that you could probably knock off in a couple of hours. A ghostwriter for me, in my definition of the word, is someone who undertakes the writing of a full manuscript, telling a full story when someone can't. The key difference here is time. Where writing a blog or a tech paper or a small ebook will take a couple of hours, ghostwriting an entire novel or an entire biography can take months, years, or sometimes longer. This means a couple of things. Number one, if you're going to choose this, you want to make sure that you're willing to give up your project to work on the other person's project for the time it takes you to complete it. Secondly, since this is going to be your primary project for the months or years that you'll be working on it, you want to make sure that your fee is enough to sustain you through that time. So you want to be very careful and not undervalue yourself when you charge for that. Now, the mid-ground to this is writing fiction online. There are online magazines, online fiction magazines, online science fiction, online romance, online mystery, online whatever, enter the niche here. You can find these gigs at your bidding services sites such as Fiverr or your freelance sites such as Upwork. Now, personally for me, I have a love-hate relationship with Fiverr. I hate it because it undervalues the artist. It undervalues the content creator. However, the business person in me, when I need to have something done quickly, such as a social media campaign, such as a book cover, or other piece of content done that I either can't or don't want to do. I love the fact that I can get it done cheaply. So I will freely admit I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth when it comes to Fiverr. But my advice is, as a writer who wants to make a living as a writer, I would avoid Fiverr like the plague. I would, however, concentrate on a site like Upwork, because Upwork is going to give you a fairer representation of the market. Please bear in mind, because of the competition there, that prices will be depressed, but they're going to be closer to the value you would get to the open market and the value you want to get as a creator of content. And you can find jobs being posted on there to write, as I said, mystery, science fiction, all forms of fiction. Now, I'm not too sure about the rights and what you get to keep and what you have to give up, so you want to check that out. That's usually done on a job-by-job, case-by-case basis. But with all freelancing gigs, whether you're writing a blog, whether you're writing a tech paper, a small ebook, or whether you're publishing fiction on one of these online sites, you always want to make sure what rights you are keeping and what rights you are giving up. The third option that you have for using your passion to increase your income or bring in an additional revenue stream is services. Offer your services, that stuff you would normally do and normally enjoy doing, to other people. If you work in the publishing industry, maybe you can offer proofreading services. Maybe you could offer copy editing services. Maybe you could offer developmental editing services. By the way, those are my favorite, because developmental editing is a process that you go through at the very beginning of the project, very beginning of the process. And I usually do this with first-time authors or authors who are a little uncertain in their story. And we just sit and we brainstorm until we have a full story arc and character arcs built out for them. And really, that's a majority of what a developmental editor does, is help develop the story before it reaches its written stage. Helps develop the blueprint or the flowchart or whatever you wish to call it. I love developmental editing. If I could make $100,000 doing developmental editing, I would do it 365 days a year, 24/7. You also have other services that may have nothing to do with writing, but it's stuff that you love to do. For example, I love online marketing. So I offer my services to help people build their brands, or build a Facebook ad campaign, or build a sales funnel, or a lead generating funnel so they can build their community. And I enjoy that. I love it. And it is a skill that is in high demand. So ask yourself, what do you do in your job every day, or what do you do for yourself every day that you love, that you can offer as a service to your community? The most important thing I want you to take from this episode is not to give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your dream of being a published author, whether it's self-published or traditionally published. Keep moving forward and do what you got to do to pay the bills, to put the food on the table and keep your roof over your head. But while you're doing that, make sure that you're loving the process, because there's nothing worse than hating what you do. And even if you're hating what you're doing, but you're telling yourself, I'm doing this so I can work on my dream. I'm doing this to allow myself to write my book. But you still hate what you do. That's going to affect your writing. That's going to affect your art. And for me, that's unforgivable. So think about your passions and how you can monetize them in small ways to help subsidize yourself while you are writing your book, while you are waiting to set the world on fire with your art. Don't give up on your art. And remember, this is a long process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So treat it as such. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Please, if you like what you're hearing, do me a favor and subscribe. I think the button should be down here somewhere. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Can never remember which side it's on. Just hit subscribe and ring the bell. When you ring the bell, you'll be notified of new videos. I usually release a new video every week, possibly 2. And until the next time, keep writing.